Welcome back. Welcome back, my viewer. I'm so happy that you're still with us. We are still with the Mongais in this show, and I want to remind you that this show, we call it Being One. And so far, we have seen this couple, demonstrating that statement, being one. They started by prayer, we remember. Their foundation or their relationship was founded on prayers. They have walked a journey. They have gone through premarital classes. They have done their wedding, and now in this part, I want us to dig deep now into their marriage journey and experiences. But before that, let me ask the couple, Mrs. Mungai and Mr. Mungai. By the way, we call you the Karwares. I don't know if so many people know you as Mongai. We call you the Karwares, but now Karwale is your dad. So here it's Mongai. All right. Briefly, maybe you mentioned that you had gone through the premarital classes.
Yes.
What are the importance? Maybe you can share with the viewers. What are the importance of going through those premarital classes before you get into marriage? What are the benefits of doing that?
Okay. One thing I'll say about what helped me as a person is that I got to know how to handle my wife in the season where I'm going.
Okay.
They say that this is the only institution where you're given a certificate before you get there.
Yes.
So you're given a certificate, and then now you're told ingia kwa uwanja.
Yes.
Now mine, I usually say that the premarital counseling helped us in recognizing and realizing that along the way, we need these items. We need these nuggets of life, and they help us to. They are helping us to think outside the box. Like now, the ones I was telling you about. There's a question that came when we were in premarital, and we are asked if by accident your spouse is amputated, will you still live with that? Will you live with that person if you don't get a child? Those candid questions when you're asked, and you have to really ask yourself, if that person is HIV positive, what would you do? Would you still live with that?
Being asked these questions before you decide, now let's get into marriage.
Yes.
Before you even do your wedding.
Yes, you ask those questions, and you ask those questions so that you ask yourself.
Yes.
At some point, you are asked if there's a fire, and you are asked to save your mother, your child, your wife, who would you save?
Wow.
And we were all like, some of us who were attached to our mothers, we were like, no, I'll go for my mother. But now, a question comes, your mother, there are so many things that came after that.
Yes.
But those questions were coming so that you realize that this person you're getting married is as important as God would want them to be. And true. God has ordained them to be there, to be that important. So for me, it helped me sometimes when you talk about financial management. They help us to know that now finances is no longer me and myself and my money. It is our money. If it talks about communication, I have to make sure that we are in communication. We, even if sometimes things can go up and down, and you're not talking to the other person, but in the long run, you still talk, and you still talk these issues out. So I realized that these topics, these premarital classes, they helped us. They prepared us to. As we get there, we know that this can happen.
Wow.
This one can happen.
Like
this one, and when it happens, now you know what to do.
Yes.
And you even pray that God gives me wisdom.
Yeah.
And Those
Wow.
are the things.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
simply like saying you are given like a small manual of where you're going,
Sure.
or
Yeah.
maybe a
Yeah.
direction,
Mm-hmm.
and you're told
Mm.
when you get there, this is
Y-
what you might find,
Yes.
and
Yes.
this is how you can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the dangers will come, and
Yes.
when you don't know
Mm.
how to clear those bushes. My
Good.
premarital classes, they help us
Mm.
to clear those bushes even before we get into
Yes.
marriage. So
Mm.
once you get into that institution of
Yes.
marriage, now
Yes.
you know this is how I'm going to handle my in-laws. This is how I'm going to communicate with my wife or my
Good.
husband.
Good. Good. Good.
This is how our
Yes.
finances will
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
I would also urge young people that to take these classes. They are good classes that they will help you, to understand what marriage is, and even to know what you might find in that institution. Now let's come back to the journey.
Yes.
You're now married.
Yes.
The wedding has happened.
Yes.
Na hakuna mtu mumeacha na deni. Service provider. Yeah.
Yes.
It has happened.
Yes.
And now you've headed to your honeymoon. Now, what was your first day? Remember, you have not, been in one house for the rest of your for the life you've lived before. Now, you have somebody else in your house. How was your first year? What are the challenges? Mrs. Mongai, yes.
I think like we agreed, we are going to be candid, we are going to be real.
Yes.
So I don't believe in sugarcoating anything. I say it as it is. My husband mentioned that.
Yes.
That has always been me. So the first thing, we went through financial challenges a lot. I remember immediately after we got married, on 16th of May, we went for the honeymoon and it was good.
Yes.
We came back. Life was, we were adjusting to living with each other. We were adjusting. For those people who have ever been in our class, there is that mirror test.
Yeah.
And I believe you went through the mirror test when we were taking you through. It's meant to prepare you for the other person and prepare the other person for
Maybe
you.
you can explain a little bit about that.
Okay.
Please do.
The mirror test is actually meant to help the couples to, first of all, accept yourself. You see, especially women, there are so many things about your body. There's nothing wrong with the body.
Yeah.
But according to your concept or perception, there's this or that you don't like about your body. And if you realize, most of the people tend to hide, especially if it's a lady, and whatever she does not like is something she can't hide. It's something on her face.
Yes.
It's something like a tooth.
Yes.
You will realize that lady always smiles. You
Or
never
like this.
really, yes, or like this. And I remember when I was young, I used to have that issue also. I was never that comfortable with my gap.
Yeah.
But now when I grew up, I overcame that. So the mirror test is meant to prepare you to first accept yourself from head to toe. And how it goes is that you stand in front of a mirror for 5 minutes.
Yes.
And you're supposed to stick there for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is how many seconds? 60 times 300 seconds. Not the 5 minutes of an African man.
No.
It's the 5 minutes of the clock.
Yes.
So the mirror test prepares you for the other person as it prepares you for yourself. Because many people who have gone for honeymoon, I remember when we were in Premarital class, you remember when we were being told that there is a couple, after the wedding, 3-4 days later, the husband called the pastor and told the pastor, my wife has refused.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
My wife has refused, and so now we are coming back for psychological preparation.
Yeah.
So it's meant for preparing you for that. Because if you cannot, there are some people who, when they're taking birth, and this is natural, and and I believe this is a marriage forum,
Sure, yes,
children
yes,
are asleep.
yes.
There are some people, even when they go to the bathroom to take a bath, they never have the courage to look at themselves. They have never appreciated or accepted how they look.
Yes.
So out of that, we prepare you to actually now face that fear and look at yourself in the mirror when you're stuck naked, so that when you go now for honeymoon, you'll have been ready for yourself, for you to look at yourself, and now for the honeymoon, now you will have the courage to look at the other person. Yes. Otherwise, if you have that fear, you will go for the honeymoon and you'll just be like that couple who had to come back mid honeymoon, cancel everything, cancel booking, travel back for premarital counseling afresh.
Wow.
Yes. So yes, but it didn't happen in our church.
Yeah.
So viewers,
Don't start looking somebody or searching for a face in our church.
Yeah, that's true.
You see, I'm trying to, think about that mirror test. Allow me to dwell there a little bit, because this is something that really, it is something that needs to be heard by even people who are in marriage. This is something that even while in marriage you need to keep doing it, because like we said before,
that's true,
there are changes that happens. Ladies, you have had given birth. You're not like the way you were the first day or before the days before you got into marriage. Maybe this is something that couples need to keep doing, the mirror test.
Yes.
And this time probably they need to stand, both of them, now, because they are married. Yeah, so that they can appreciate each other.
Yeah.
Now there are changes that have happened.
Yeah.
Now this is who we are. We keep moving on. Now, coming back to the question that I had asked you, what are the challenges now, the two of you in the first year? Maybe you can name two.
Okay. One of the challenges that we faced was financial challenges.
Yes.
Our income was not the same, so we had to adjust accordingly.
Yes.
We had moved from where I was living,
yes,
nearer to where she was working,
okay,
because of her commuting. Her commuting had she used to commute even at night. So we moved nearer so that at least she's adjustable. She's able to adjust here and there. So our finances got into we got in some challenges where we were not able to meet some of these needs, but not because there was no money, but because there was no plan. Until we came now with her background, her mother and her father were businessmen.
Okay.
So she comes from that background where you plan the money.
Yes.
So we had to plan that money. We had to have the different envelopes for everything. So that discipline went on like that for some years. So when you overcome that challenge, we also had another challenge of communication.
Okay.
When I get angry, I don't want to speak.
Okay.
When she gets angry, she wants to speak.
We remember she had anger issues.
Yes. So most of the time, because sometimes I want to raise my voice and to be heard as a man. Yes. I realized that time we used to have a lot of conflict because of the communication part. And at some point I could not understand why she's not listening to me, and she wants me to listen to her. So but it was a real struggle.
Yeah.
And it didn't just go for 1 year. It went for several years.
All right.
But that 1 year taught me a lot. There are times we could get into conflict, and instead of me getting into war or in a battle, I could walk out. Maybe probably it's at night. Yeah. I just walk out. The village or the estate we used to live, it was not that good security wise, but I could walk and I could wish someone come and anigonge. by the time
Wow.
you're going back, you have a dent, and she'll
Yeah.
now feel that she has
Sorry.
caused the
Yeah.
pain
Yeah.
because I walked out on her,
Mm.
and now I've gone and and someone hit me or something.
Mm.
But I could go around and then come back.
Nothing
But at
happens
least
to
by the time I'm coming back,
yeah.
my temperatures
Yes,
has gone
has
down.
gone down.
Have gone down. So
Mm.
I did that several times,
Wow.
and but we had purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Our first year,
Mm-hmm.
we will not have a TV.
Wow.
That is something we had decided before our marriage.
Okay.
So we didn't have a TV. We didn't have a TV, and in our first year, we decided we are not going to have a baby.
Before you go to having a baby, why did you decide not to have a TV?
Probably
Why?
Nancy can answer that.
Maybe it's there's something that you're avoiding, or something that you don't want to happen. Why would you come up with such a
Actually, I can say that the idea of not having a TV for the whole of the first year had come from us emulating what our best couple had done.
Okay.
And we had, out of even listening to them, we used to go, we were the kind of couple who went to people we admire, whose marriages we admire.
Yes.
We could go to our best couple, and we would do that frequently. I remember we had 2 years of courtship, so it was quite something. So we would also identify someone in church, and their marriage is going well, and we would request them if we would visit them. And so when we visit them, we would tell them the agenda of our visit is this. So they would pour out their lives on us. So out of that, we had several things we would admire this couple and that couple. And so when we sat down now for our conversations during our meetings or during our courtship, we would have material to talk about. Wow. And I would surprise the viewer and say that our courtship was not so much lovey-dovey, love you, and then we go home kind of thing. It is, we would talk material. We would talk, if in-laws reject me or reject you, how are you going to support me? If we don't have a child, or if there is a delay in getting a child, how are we going to cope with this? How are you going to support me? How am I going to support you? Are we going to enter into that? That was our courtship. So even when we got to that point, we were prepared, first of all, by the premarital classes, then by visiting the people. So even as we were deciding we will not have the TV, what we had realized from our best couple is that the first year is the year you are building the foundation of the house. True. If you are trying to build a skyscraper today, the tallest building in Kenya, you would have to dig very deep. The people who built that building had to dig very deep for the foundation, so that now the house, once it gets to ground floor, it can go very high. Sure. So the first year is a foundation year. Yes. So if you allow distractions, the phones, I pity the people who are getting married nowadays. Wow. With WhatsApp, with Twitter, Instagram, everything. It is so easy to get distracted because maybe umekosania kitu fulani, na instead of now having time to resolve that issue, you find yourselves on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and you know Facebook is endless. You just scroll the whole night. So we didn't have that time. I think Facebook, WhatsApp was not so common. So the phone was for calling and receiving calls and sending messages and receiving messages. So if you're calling nobody and there's no TV, you have the opportunity now for reconciling. So that is how it helped us, not having a TV. Because you see, a TV back then is what a phone is today. A phone is full of WhatsApp, so many icons, so many apps, to the extent that you're seated with someone in the same room. But literally, you're not together. You're just physically together, but you're not together. Because kila mtu in his world, in my world. So, and that is something that we've been discussing even in our marriage, how we can now control the use of phone when he comes home.
Saying about the TV, not having the TV phone, because that's the foundation you're trying to build. Us, we did something about the phone, but us was not that strict. I think you guys were really strict on yourselves. There was a time that first year we decided not to receive calls past 9 or touch the phone past 9 p.m.
Okay.
We called it family time. Because I'm working, she's working. There was no time we could say that the whole day we cannot, because we are using our phones also to communicate with others. So once we got home, probably I was getting home at that time, from 9 p.m. no phones. So I can agree with you that we need to sacrifice things for our marriages to work, so that we can have firm foundations for our marriages. And I'm happy for that. Now we have the first year is over and everything, and you're continuing with your marriage. What are some things, Mr. Mungai, that you saw in Mrs. Mungai, that you, or in your wife, that you've never seen before, that you now started seeing them at that time?
Wow. My wife, I had not known her financial discipline before, but later when we faced that challenge of finances, and she came up with that idea of doing the envelopes.
Yes.
I realized, hey,
the envelopes idea.
The envelope idea is we used to do a budget.
Yes.
But now in our way of doing the budget, we would say it's at the beginning of the month. We have she's earning 20,000. I'm earning 20,000.
Okay.
We put 40,000 on the table, and we say now transport from where we were to church and to work this much.
Okay.
Food this much. We put it in an envelope. So the discipline was you cannot touch the other envelope.
Yes.
And we have the tithe and offering.
With God.
Yes, the envelope for the tithe and offering. And then we have other envelopes. Would even have giving.
Yes.
If the food envelope is over and the giving envelope has money, you don't touch. Wow. That one was for giving.
Wow.
It was such a discipline I had not acquired, because me the kind iko na pesa chukua hapo fanya hivi itakuja tu ingine ya kupeana. But now with that discipline I came to realize that I also need to get more discipline when it comes to finance. I'm still learning even today.
Wow.
I'm still learning. After 13 years I'm still learning.
It's a
learning process
every day.
Every day.
Wow.
To make budgets, to make when you allocate money, don't take that money outside that box.
You stick to it.
For me, I need more.
Wow. Now that's a definition of a helper now.
That's true. That's true.
She helped you. And I think even men we have that issue of finances. It's a real issue.
Yes.
And I think I would host men here so that we can deal with that issue of finances.
That's true. That's
because
true.
most men are not managers of finances.
Good.
They are spenders.
They are spenders, yes.
I like that. I like that you're covering each other's weaknesses by lifting the other person, to another level.
That's
be
true.
it spiritually, be it financially. I like that is actually the essence of marriage. Also trying to make sure that you're not bringing them down. It is your responsibility to make sure that your spouse is growing.
Yes.
And speaking of growing, and let's come into, because we are still on the area of prayer. As a priest of the house, as the Bible has called us men, what are your responsibility spiritually in your marriage?
Okay. I would say that I got to know through the same idea that she gave before, our best couple.
Okay.
They showed us about who, when you become a priest in your house, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. One is about waking up early
Yes.
and pray for your family, even
Okay.
before they wake up, even before they wake up. So
Yeah.
that tradition of waking up earlier,
Yes.
even if it's 30 minutes before, 1 hour before,
Mm.
just wake up, start praying,
Yes.
praying for them,
Yes.
praying for them,
Mhm.
and it has helped me to nurture
Mhm.
my wife and my children
Okay.
into that area of prayer.
Wow.
And also the word of God.
Mm.
Thank God because they also love God.
Yes.
They love God at their age, and
Mm.
they will say things that you'll realize
Mhm.
these children, they know what they're saying about God. So it is my responsibility, one, to introduce my family to God.
Yes.
I mean, to like bring them before God.
Yes.
And also doing what Job did.
Okay.
He used to give sacrifices for his family.
Yes.
And he would say, perhaps my children, my people, my children have cast God
Yeah.
in their parties. He used to make sure that he has sacrificed, he has pleaded mercy
mercy for them.
from them. And because of that, the devil says, when he was before God,
Yeah.
Satan said when he was before God, that haven't you shielded Job?
Yeah.
And not only Job as a person, but all what he had.
Yeah.
Whatever was called the name, had a name Job
His
in it.
household, yeah.
It was covered. So I saw a secret that Job didn't wait for his wife to come and tell him, let's go and
Let's
pray.
go pray.
He didn't wait for a friend to come and tell him, let's go and pray.
Mm.
He had to take it himself
Yes.
and go and pray for them.
Yeah.
So that is what I said. That's what I took. And since when I started that, I have seen changes.
Wow.
I don't need to tell her, do this or do that. Spiritually now, it comes out automatically.
Yes.
Even sometimes, even there are times I have prayed in the morning.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the devotion itself, ile mnaomba pamoja, I may forget. But in me, I know there's a deposit.
Yes.
There's a deposit I have already deposited. In the night, I did a deposit.
Yes.
So even if in the morning, because of mnaenda shule harakati za kwenda, you have forgotten to do the devotion, you know at the back of your mind that these people are covered.
Yeah.
They are well protected. They are covered. Even if you don't do it. I'm not saying that you don't do it. It is very important for them also to know that there is what we call devotion, and you do it as a tradition also.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so good to know that you can exercise that, because God has given us that, position as priests.
Yes.
And it's us, our responsibility to make sure that our families are not, I would say, going down spiritually, but they are always lifted before God, and they are growing spiritually themselves. And that is something that men, we ought to get to know, and even seek God's counsel and knowledge about that, because if you see, there's a pastor who told me something, and I agree, I can connect with what you're saying.
Yes.
He told me, if you see a home going down, it is as a result of a man not stepping up.
Good.
If the man is not stepping up spiritually and bringing his family to the level that God would want them to
That's true.
then that family is crumbling down.
That's true.
And so I'm happy for you that is happening.
It's about having an altar, family altar.
Wow.
And you as a priest,
yes,
you need to put up that altar. Whether you're in a rented house,
yes,
whether you're in our own house,
yes,
wherever you are, put up an altar. Raise it up.
yes,
Sacrifice on that altar.
yes.
Make sure that on that altar there is always that the presence of God.
Yes.
How do you do that? By one, engaging in prayer.
Yes.
Secondly, reading the word, and also having those family devotions.
Yes.
It is very important.
Wow.
Today, my daughter, there's a place she stands and she says, "Come to the family altar." I think it's the mom who told them about the family altar. So
yes.
I hear they say, come to the family altar and say the memory verse.
Yes.
So when you see such, you say that these actually are an altar. It speaks. It speaks for this house.
Yes.
It speaks for these children.
Yes.
It speaks on behalf of even me.
Yes.
As a priest of that altar.
True.
Yes.
True. Wow. That one is something that I'm going to also start doing. I must confess that I've learned something new. And I know even my viewers, they have learned something, concerning that, because it is our responsibility. And God has given us these families so that we can, bring them to such levels spiritually and bring them closer to God. You don't need to find any knowledge elsewhere. Just stick here at Being One show and get to know more on what you need to do in your marriage and how you need to run your marriage, because marriage must work. And because the years is working, even this one will work. That one that you have started, that you are into right now, it will work because God is in it. And God being the one who has started marriages, they must work. Just stick around as we continue with the stories. God bless you.